Okay, so today we're going to make salsa, homemade salsa, and it's very simple. Very simple. Okay. We have tomatoes, red onion, cilantro, lime, and jalapenos if you want it to be spicy. If you don't, then you can leave that off. And then I just season it with salt, iodized salt, and pepper. Okay. I already cut up my red onions because I didn't want you to see the struggle of her with the onions or me with the onions, so I already cut it up. I do not put a lot of onions in it because they're very strong and your salsa will taste oniony. So if you wanted to have a very strong onion taste, then that's fine, but I wanted mine to taste more like tomato. So I use about 1/4 of a red onion, if that much. And you can gauge it. It's always easy to add more onion than it is to add everything else because I've done it and it was prominently the onion that I tasted, so I had to add more cilantro, more lime, more tomato, and everything, and it just was like, okay, never again. So, start off, I have 3 large tomatoes, and I've done this with as many as 10 tomatoes, so it's really just what you need as far as an amount of salsa, and then as you see how many tomatoes are in there, then you can gauge how to do everything else. Okay, so we have our tomatoes. We're gonna go ahead and cut those up, and they can be various sizes. Like, it doesn't really matter. You don't want them like super small, but you also don't want them to be really thick either. So you can just gauge it off of that. Those in here. Okay. Okay, be careful. Make sure you get them in the container, Gigi. Make sure you get them in the container. And you do not have to be precise at all. Like, literally does not matter for this. Feel like, oh no, that's too big, then you just go through and cut it up some more. Yeah, keep going. And I use even the top part of the onion. I just cut, not the onion, the tomato. I just cut around that center piece, but don't waste anything, okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut up my other tomatoes, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I had to switch to a bigger bowl because I underestimated those big body tomatoes, and that little bowl was not gonna cut it, so I had to switch real quick. So I have 1 bunch of cilantro. Okay. And I'm just going to chop this up and use the entire bunch. And I don't care about stems. Honestly, when you're eating the salsa, it doesn't matter.
What are these? Mom? What are these? Mom?
Hold on. Let's get to the bottom and it's too many stems, then I'll kind of take some of them out. But ooh, watch out for the knife. Okay, now you can put it in there. Thank you. But really, it doesn't matter. And the cilantro, when you taste it, you really like, okay, I couldn't do without this part. Like, it is a necessity. You have to put it in there. Come on now.
Mom.
Yes.
I got. I got.
I don't know what that means.
Jaw. Jaw, jaw. Jaw, jaw.
Okay, again, I don't know what that means. Alright, so then I'm gonna add my diced jalapeno. If you don't like it spicy, you don't have to put that in there. Depending on how spicy you want it, just how much you put in there. I don't measure that, I just, kind of gauge.
Can you put in there? Can you put in there?
Okay. Okay. And the other part of my lime. Hold on, let me flip it over. These juicers are so convenient because, watch your fingers, Gigi. Who wants to be sitting here trying to squeeze the life out of a lime? And I've literally been that person, so I know that I do not. I have been that person. Like, trying to get as much, especially when I'm baking and it calls for like lemons. It's just not the move at all. I'm gonna be very honest with you all. So I got this from Walmart and I got the lemon squeeze as well. The lemon squeezer. I don't know what you call these. So I use 2 limes. Go ahead and add my red onion. And like I said, I'm gonna see. Yep, that's red onion. I'm gonna look and see and gauge before I add more, because a little bit of red onion goes a long way in this salsa. When you put too much, you're gonna regret it.
Too much.
Yeah, if I put too much, I'm gonna regret it.
This? Too much.
No, it's not too much. I actually think I could put the rest and be fine. So you want to incorporate all the ingredients. You'll probably be able to smell it already. And then pepper, salt, and again we're going to use table salt. And then it's best if you let it sit. So if you want the salsa, I would say to make it at least a day before, so all the flavors can really, bless you, so all the flavors can really incorporate. But if you need it that same day, it'll be okay. Like, it'll still taste good. Yes, I'm just gonna try a little piece. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt. And I know you're probably like, dang, that was not a little, but look at the size of this bowl of salsa, so it will.
Bowl of sauce. Mom.
And then that's gonna be fine. And then you just cover it and let it sit for however long. Until you need it that day or the next day, eat it. It's gonna be so good. On nachos, that's what we're having tonight. Chips and salsa, whatever it is that you want to do with it, it's gonna be good. So yeah, very simple, quick, easy. It tastes so much better than canned salsa. It really does. It really does. And it's so easy. So if you try it, let me know. And don't forget to like and subscribe. So we'll be back to show you the end result with our nachos. Okay?
Bye.
So here I've started out with some on the border chips, and I just used a roasting pan and poured them in the bottom. You can put as many as you want. And then I used some white rice that I cooked, and I think it just really adds to the nachos when I put rice on there, and it helps to fill you up as well. And it's just really, really good with the nachos, in my opinion. You can either put them on there, skip them, of course. And then the ground beef goes on next. You can substitute ground turkey if you would like. I grate the block cheese myself instead of using it from the bag because they say that there's some type of chemical in the bags of cheese that are pre-shedded to keep them from clumping and going bad. So I don't use those. And I use Kobe Jack. And then I put black olives on top. And then I put it in the oven on 350 until the cheese is melted. Then I use iceberg lettuce on top. And, that just adds to the crunch. Little vegetables. And I like it. So it just depends. You can use spinach if you want to, romaine lettuce, whatever it is. I like iceberg lettuce. And then, of course, the salsa that we made goes next. And you can use as much as you want. And if you don't want your chips to be soggy, just don't use as much of the juice on the nachos because, of course, it'll make it soggy. And then top it off with sour cream. So a few dollops of sour cream in a couple different areas, depending on how much sour cream you like. And you are good to go. And you see how pretty these nachos are, and they taste even better.